And we're live. What is the crack, YouTubers? Welcome to another live hobby hangout. I am your host, as always, Scarnier. And on today's episode, we have Gus from the Tabletop Collectors channel. So hello, Gus.
Hey everyone. Hey, how's it going?
What's the crack, bud? So we have introduce yourself there, Gus. What do you do with your channel? What's your shtick? What's your thing? You're part of the York community. You're starting up your
Yeah.
channel and you're rebooting, and tell us what you're up to.
Um, so I am just a new channel. I basically want to do like I do psychology and social work stuff. So I want to put that into Warhammer. I want to look at the mental state of different armies and and the ideas behind them. Um, and how they're so that's kind of what I want to do. And I also do a bit of music, Warhammer songs,
You do songs
things
for
like that. And
for
I
Warhammer. Nice.
yeah. And I collect orcs, obviously.
And you collect the
So
work, so
I'll be doing army showcases.
a,
Yeah,
a, a, a man of
visual.
good taste, I see. Good, fair play to you. You're in the right place, so you're gonna be doing like the psychology of 40k armies. What do you mean by that? Do you mean like the delving into the lore and the psychology of the armies themselves, or are you gonna be touching on like
Mhm.
maybe different people with different personalities are drawn to different armies? Would it be
Yeah, so it would be kind of about um the first one is kind of like more about us as war gamers. Why are we drawn to collecting models? And what is it about collecting that's been around in human society for a long time? And then after that, I'm going to get into each army. So like orcs, for example, like why do big mechs, why are they like that? Why do they have the need to build things all the time, like war bosses? And then I'll go into the different clans, like Death Skulls. Are they kleptomaniacs? Are they, a certain? And then so that's kind of the idea, is to bring in that and talk about each clan and how we perceive orcs, or how the humans in the society in Warhammer perceive orcs, and how orcs might perceive themselves, and also Gretchen. So just talking about the different way they think and maybe analyzing them in a way. So yeah, and what kind of person it does take to collect a certain army? Is there a personality type, or is there a certain personality that is drawn to that army, for example?
because I've always kind of wondered that, like, when it comes to the lore and whatnot, I've found it interesting with orcoids, especially over the years. Like, different people have different perceptions of orcs depending on kind of where they've started collecting them. Like, have you been collecting?
Mm.
Have you been in the hobby long yourself? Like, have you been collecting orcs long yourself, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for a while. I started when I was 8 years old in Warhammer,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 29, almost 30 now. So I've been doing it for, gosh, 22 years.
Yeah, about the
22
same
years in
time as me.
Warhammer.
Yeah. About the same length of time as me. On and off, or
Yeah.
did you stick with it the whole way, or?
Um, I've always had the models on and off, definitely. Things came into, I guess it just. Can you see my video? I was just wondering.
Your video, I
Scar?
checked on your channel
Yeah.
for your new upload, but I have seen your other upload. Um,
I
you,
mean, currently the video that I'm streaming now.
the video you're streaming now. No, I haven't seen that one. I was checking before our stream to see if you'd
Oh,
uploaded it, but I couldn't see it.
oh
I
no,
could.
I've still got to upload it. Yeah,
Go on, Gwen. Tell me, give me a
still
rough
got.
overshot so we can discuss it. Then go on.
No. The first thing I'm doing right now is why do we collect? So
Ah,
it's kind of why I started collecting and what got me into the hobby. But right now it's more that, yeah, I've been doing it 22 years. My dad got me into it. He bought me the third edition Space Marine and Dark Elder. The old school one that came with the great third edition.
rule book. Yeah.
The big rule book. Yeah, yeah, and the terrain, the trees, and everything. And I remember I just painted all my Space Marines blue, no undercoat or anything, just straight blue paint on them. And it was a big deal because my dad just brought them home one day, and I didn't even know what these were. And of course, back in the '90s, Pokemon was the big thing. So
Yeah.
you're like, what are these little men with guns? Why are they so cool? You know,
That
why can you put them together? Yeah.
that box set, I can remember, like, because that was about the time I was getting into the hobby myself. Because I can remember just I got into like fantasy before 40k, but I can remember them getting ready for the release. They're like, oh, there's gonna be a new box set coming out, and playing intro games with my brother, and him getting stuck with the Dark Elder and the tactical marines. You know what I mean? Using the tactical
Yeah,
marines
yeah,
against
yeah.
them, and yeah. Poor buggers.
Yeah.
I have to say, the Dark Elder got the shaft in that box set because the Marines got what? A tactical squad and a land speeder. And then just got like
Yeah.
20,
Yeah.
20 warriors, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So
they
yeah,
really got shoved
they
in.
got terrible, and the Dark Elder bits would always like come apart. I don't know. I always had trouble with them. I always got spikes in my fingers.
Hmm.
Whenever I tried to build them, I'd always like dig a spike into my finger at the time. And I think half the spikes were broken off them. The helmets had the big spikes. So yeah, they were just a real pain to put together. But the Space Marines are great. They had
Yeah,
the land speeder. The land speeder was very cool.
it was
Very cool.
very cool. Um,
Yeah.
and I do remember, I can remember getting like well, they did battalion box sets because I got into Space Wolves. My grandparents bought me Space Wolves, and I can remember getting like the Gothic runes you'd get in your box sets. Every now and then you get like
Yeah,
two
yeah.
Gothic runes. Or those
Yeah,
woods
yeah,
that you're
yeah.
on about, those jungle woods where it would be like the bark on them would be like brown plastic and the leaves would be this sort of dome shaped palm leaves and green. Yeah, man,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was like some of my very first terrain.
Oh, yeah. And those ruins that you're talking about, those were great.
Oh
Those
yeah,
were solid. Like you could throw those at a wall and they'd be sweet.
oh
They
definitely,
were
man.
yeah. Um Gosh, yeah. Yeah. And yeah, such a great kit. And that rule book itself was so grimdark, eh?
Oh yeah,
All
yeah, yeah.
the
There was so much. It was an interesting one. It was a reboot, kind of like what we saw with Eighth Edition, but like even the artwork, the lore in it, the oh
mm,
yeah, like I didn't have it. Of course, I didn't have that rulebook starting off. One of my friends in school had it,
okay.
and he used to bring it into school,
Yeah.
and I used to pore over the pages. You know what I mean? Constantly looking over them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was,
It's a great, yeah, because it was so dark. You were trying to. It was so intricate. Was it John Blanche that painted most of it? Was it John Blanche?
um,
Um, art
John
style.
Blanche did some of the work. I know John Blanche did like the cover art, and then there was a few others. I know Mark Gibbons did some of the artwork, and I
Mm,
think Wayne England did some of the stuff as well. Um, so
yeah,
some of the artwork for that one. There's some really iconic pieces. For instance, the Emperor on sitting on the throne. Can always remember that
yeah,
piece
yeah,
of artwork. That was it was absolutely classic stuff, man. It really was. It sort of
yeah, yeah,
cemented it for me, like the vision of what like Grimdark and 40k was. I think that rule book was did a really good job of that.
yeah, yeah. It did. The fact that you could play every army in that rulebook, that you could just do any army because they had
Mm.
all of them in there. Um, yeah, it was a great rulebook. It was something I kept for years, and I've left it back at my old house, unfortunately.
Oh, it's worth
Still
getting.
kicking myself about that. It's worth getting again. Yeah, I've
It's
picked
worth.
up a bunch of those old third edition rulebooks. Well, the codexes after that, 3.5 chaos and all that.
Uh,
Um,
the 3.5 Chaos Codex was an absolute brilliant codex. It really was. I came very close to nearly building an Iron Warriors army with some basilisks because I just liked the look of them. But it's alas, it was something that never came to fruition. We have a few heads who've joined us for the stream. Some usuals, Pokes here. We've got Voodoo Fairy. What's the crack, Voodoo
Look,
Fairy? The Drunken Orc is here as well.
oh, cool.
Voodoo Fairy said he just picked up a bunch of Gear Guts minis that had ordered before lockdown 5 months ago, and Drunken Orc is saying, well, happy Christmas. Sid, you're either like super early or super late. I don't know, but in May I do not want to be hearing about Christmas, mate. You know what I mean? Shenanigans. What are you working on yourself, Gus? I'm working on Warlords bolt action, one of the Tiger tank. I think it's an Oust E. One of these tanks. That's what I'm building. Building a bolt action type. Yeah, Oust E. And
Can you see what I'm working on? I'm doing the gear
hold
gut
on.
stuff.
He's got some gear gut stuffs. What gear guts minis are you working on, Gus? The Mega Knob dudes.
Yeah, can you see them here?
Yeah. I can see him.
Yeah, so I'm just working on these. Are I think his early set, the B.
Ah.
Just undercoated them with a primer, a grey primer. I'm gonna paint these up.
Sweet. What's your plan with the list?
With my orc list.
With the Mega
I'm
Knobs.
planning to run. Well, I'm gonna paint them up rusty, but I'm going to run 10 of them in an orc list.
Nice.
So I'm gonna take. I like to take Mega Knobs. I have a lot of Mega Knobs, so I just thought I'd paint them up because I'm always going to need to use them, and who knows, they might get really good in the new edition.
They're always cool. They look cool.
Might become. Yeah, they look great. I really like Guts' ones, eh?
Yeah, there's some nice ones. I
really like the
have
design of
I have the files for them, but I just haven't gotten around to print them off. Like I have an FDM printer, but I'd want to, if I was doing troops, I'd want to do them in resin. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'd want to print them off in resin, and then I've a fair few Mega Knobs myself. Like back in the day, I think I've 10 metal ones from back in the day when you used to have to buy them in blister packs, and then I think I've about 12 plastic ones, most of which need to be built up. So, yeah, it's definitely proper Mega Knobs bash.
I think you showed me some of your Mega Knobs and they just looked great. The ones, they're mainly new on sprue, aren't they? You've got 3 sets, don't you?
Yeah, I went for when that box set came out with Ragnar and Gazgul, I figured that Gazgul would probably be like $50 by himself, and that the Mega Knobs would be $50. And I think the set was selling for like 70 something or whatever, or 80 something. So, you know, I sold off the Space Wolf parts and I traded with other people and whatnot. And I pretty much ended up with like, you know, it came with knobs as well, didn't it? Wasn't it Mega Knobs and knobs? I've loads of knob sprues. You know the standard knob sprue? It's a Kraken sprue, but I've a fair few of them as well. But
I didn't know it came with knobs.
I can't remember. I might be misremembering. Like I could be misremembering, because I'm sure anyone in the chat will be more than happy to help me remember if there was standard knobs. But I think it came with like Gazgul, Mega Knobs, and standard knobs. But I could be wrong about that.
Okay, that's a good kit then. I mean, that's a great set. Those are kind of my favorite. Kits.
Yeah. It was good for the orcs, but the poor Space Wolves got like, I think they got whatever their Primaris scout dudes are. You know what I mean? It wasn't a great set for the Space Wolves, I have to say. The only thing we're getting was Ragnar Blackmane. It wasn't it wasn't amazing for the poor Space Wolves.
It's like the Dark Elder story from 3rd edition.
It is. It's like the Dark Elder story. The blister pack days, buying models with pocket money. Yeah, man, I remember. I can remember buying Mega Knobs in about like 2009 or 2010, and I think they were about €10.50 a pop in a blister pack. So it was.
Really?
Yeah, man, it was. This is the thing that baffled me when that new Mega Knob set came out, and it was like €50 or whatever. Like it was cheaper to buy them in metal blister pack. You know, you wouldn't think it, but sure it is what it is. You know. Yeah. I have a lot of those old Mega Knobs. I think I've probably got like 20 something Mega Knobs in total, and like 10 of them are metal. Something. Man, just let me know if you want any. I could send some over to Ireland. Nah, I've 20. I've like plenty of the old ones, and I've plenty of the plastic ones, and I have Gear Guts files I'm fine for Mega Knobs, Gus.
Yeah, that's right.
I've plenty unbuilt. No, nobody needs to send me anything. That can be guaranteed. I have plenty to keep myself busy. I've just been mucking
Yeah.
around with different
Cool.
things at this stage.
Yeah. I think I've got too many.
Yeah, nah, here, look. You can never have too many orcs. You can never
You have too
have
many
too many.
orcs, that's true. Yeah, you can never have too many orcs. But yeah, I'll show you something I painted recently. I'm still fixing it up, but it's a Gorknaut.
Gives a look. Close cam for Gus. Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's just kind of a simplistic style I do, which is like a rust look.
Yeah,
Doesn't
but it
take
looks
very
good,
long.
man.
Just
Looks
sponge
good.
it.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah.
Some nice variation in the colours and the
There's a
tones.
Gorknaut.
Sweet.
And that's a truck that I made the other day out of Taurox. We're still going to paint the Gretchen on top, but if you can pick it up.
Yeah, we can see it there. Nice looted Taurox. Sweet.
Yeah.
Look at the armour plating you've done on the tracks.
Oh yeah, just a bit of plastic art, yeah.
Looks the part, man. It looks the part. Absolutely smashing work. I love that though. I love that about orcs in general. You can take an Imperial vehicle you like the look of, and you're like, I'm nicking that, and bosh. You know,
Yeah.
there's not many armies out there that can do that as well. Well, we got the lads saying, Drunken Orc are saying, yeah, came with knobs and mega knobs, so it was right. Gaz, Macari, and Ragnar, and some incursors. Yeah, the poor wolves got stuck with incursors. Tommy Grimbuilder saying, the blister pack days, buying models with pocket money. I missed out on that set. Best way to get the mega knobs. It was, Tommy. Drunken Orc are saying he used to buy them for $2.99 per pack. Oh, the older mega knobs again. The very first mega knobs, I think they were all bad mounts. Yeah, but of course, that was back in the day when $2.99 would buy you like half a car, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Remember the 1 cent lollies and stuff you could get. It was a different
penny jellies. Those were the days, buds. Those were the days.
Oh yeah. It's really cool.
Now there's an aerial that comes with this kit, but I am on my Swiss gluing this aerial in because I know it'll break off. I don't know why, like, cause I don't play bolt action, but I just saw this on a site and I was like, you know, I'd like to build a Tiger tank. Swiss glue.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? You know. I was hoping maybe be a bit bigger. I think. Yeah, it's 1 in 56 scale, so it's true 28mm scale. But there's a big difference between like true 28mm scale stuff and 40k stuff. Like, I think you don't really realize it until you get 28mm scale stuff in your hand and you're like, it's a tad small. You get me?
Oh yeah, they're looking good, man. Yeah, but I still think those tracks just look great on them, don't they?
Oh yeah. Tracks. The tracks on the sides of this they're pretty handy for what they are. I missed a bit of the sprue there. I'll have to snip it off.
I'd have to fix them up because I do like those tracks. You could make some great orc tracks.
Now these are all one piece though, is the only thing about these tracks. If you were going to get tracks for conversions, like all the running gear here is one piece, but the main drive gear, so like for this tank the transmission is up here, so it's being powered from the front of the track. So that's your transmission up here, your drive gear. But the rest of this is all one solid piece. You can kind of see there's no detail on the back of the wheels here because you're not going to see them. So maybe not. They're not too expensive. They're all right. These kits. I think it was about 20 quid, 25 quid, something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
That's right. But I mean, yeah. I do like the old Tiger. I do like those World War II tanks. To be fair.
I do like the Tiger.
Yeah, they are really good tanks.
They look schwank.
I do like the Sherman as well.
Oh yeah. Like I'm a fan. There's quite a few tanks I'm a fan of from like World War II. The Tiger is one of them. I like the T-34. The KV-2 as well. The Cromwell. There's a few of them. Like there's a few British tanks that they did. Like there's some really cool tanks. Like if you look into Hobart's funnies, there's a lot of tanks that the Brits they converted so that they'd have like mine flails, these giant flails, which I've always thought like that would be great for death rollers, like these mine clearing flails. You know what I mean? I've always thought, you know,
yeah.
blood axe death rollers,
Great.
they'd be a great concept. So feel free out there if you're looking for ideas. You can do mine flails. They would look sweet.
Yeah, yeah, they do look great. Because I was thinking, the orc truck comes with the wrecking ball,
Mm-hmm.
and you can just there'd be so many other things. I'd like to make a giant wrecking ball. Just a huge wrecking ball out of scrap.
Oh yeah,
Um,
totally. Like
yeah, just a big scrap ball that it was the failed Dawn of War 3 game had a big wrecking ball, that went down a giant scrap ball, which was great. I just thought that was a great concept, the giant scrap ball that they can summon onto the field or whatever, or they could electromagnetic field, bring it down, destroy everything, and that some mad doc was behind it, just or some big mech was behind it, just controlling it. This
Sure.
giant ball of scrap.
just throwing it down from
So
orbit.
yeah,
I used to
yeah.
I
Just
used
to
to love
mess
that about
things up.
Dawn of War, Gus. Did you ever play Dawn of War 1?
Oh,
The first one. Anytime you tried to
all
build
the
something
time.
with the orcs,
Yeah,
they'd come along with like a jet with a big lump of scrap and it would just like dump it down. I always liked that animation. I always thought
yeah.
it was entertaining.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, and it would just ditch the scrap there. I liked how you had to use a lot of Gretchen,
For building.
to yeah, that you had to make more of them, and the more Gretchen you had, the faster the thing would get built, and that you just needed a lot of Gretchen at the end of the day. You could also just use them to take a hit when your opponent came into the game and tried to mess you up. You could just line the field with Gretchen, and then send in the Mega Knobs and all the stuff behind it.
Oh, the big stuff.
That
Yeah,
I used
yeah,
to
you'd
do.
hit them hard with the big stuff. We have
Yeah,
a few comments here. Orc stuff
yeah.
is saying GW call it heroic scale 28mm. It's going more towards 32 at this stage. Solvent abuse. Oh, what's the crack? Dread saying KV2 my favorite big box on wheels tracks. What's the story, bud? Are you still doing your Machina Krieger stuff? I've seen a few people knocking stuff around. I've been dabbling. Gus, I've turned to the dark side. I've been dabbling, Gus. I've been mucking around with with Gundam kits. I've been going to Gundam kits. I'm like, these look like fun to build, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Let's see them.
they're pretty
Oh,
sweet
yeah.
though. They're hilarious.
They are really cool.
I like them. I'm looking at some of the weapons and I'm thinking like a war boss might like a bazooka or two with these dudes. You know, some Zaku's and whatever else. You got some decent sized firearms. You know what I mean? You could steal.
I see a lot of yeah, I see a lot of orc stuff from that. I just see it as like big orc mechs that you could, you can make a lot of mecha dreads or dreads out of that.
Oh yeah,
If
definitely.
you just, I'm
But
thinking of
even
ways to destroy them so that I could turn them into something orky.
well, yeah, you've got like there's some nice boxy shoulder pads here. Like obviously it's very sort of tail, but if you're looking for a looted sort of type of thing, like you could get some hands. Like they could make the basis of a good shoulder pad. Like this kit I'm holding here is like super basic kit. I think this was like 10 euros or something like that. But like, if you wanted to build like a cyborg war boss, you could just get rid of this torso, shorten the legs a little bit if you wanted. Like his legs are a bit tall, you know.
Mm,
But you could do something
yeah.
interesting. I could definitely use the shoulder pads or something like that. I mean, the legs are super
Even
lanky, but you could use it for something.
if you wanted it to be kind of a bit humorous, you could cut off the mouth and the face part and stick an orc head in there.
Just,
It'll fit.
just bop
Or a Gretchen head.
an orc head wired up and just
Yeah.
make it into a robot. It could be like a crazy dread, but they're very leg. Like even if you pop the leg off of them, like in comparison to the rest of them, like the leg is most of them. Like they're totally out of proportion, but they're hilarious. Like
Yeah.
their legs are like super long on these ones. But I like the Zaku ones, the green ones. Funnily enough, I thought that was hilarious. It's like, oh well, I'll delve into something that isn't the 40k, and I'm drawn to like the chaff green units straight away. The bad guys, the Zakuos.
Yeah.
I'm like, these guys look cool. It wasn't until after the fact I'm like, Jesus, yeah, they're pretty much orcs. I love it.
Are they? Are they aliens in the show? I don't know.
No,
I
it's
haven't
it's human on
been,
human conflict, which is fine by me. But you get what I mean. Sort of they're the bad guys. They're kind of like what would be the equivalent of like stormtroopers. You know what I mean? Sort of there's loads of them. They're disposable for the good guys to sort of shoot up. I've been trying to watch
they're
some of
not
the
as well
cartoons
trained
to
as
get
the
in.
good guys.
Yeah.
They all can't shoot straight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Plot armor always intervenes.
Yeah.
The usual. You know the story, Gus. The usual. Orc stuff is saying truck engines make good wrecking balls, Gus. Maybe that's food for
true.
thought.
I do have a truck engine, so that I got from the mech shop kit, so I should use that.
Oh
Thanks,
yeah. I know the one you're on about. It's the one in sort of like the overhead sort of crane thing that it's like it's being jacked out of a vehicle.
Yeah. I actually clipped it off already because I wanted to use it for something. I just didn't know what yet, so I could do great wrecking ball with that.
Could do. I've seen some cracking conversions back in the day when the Stompa Force came out, and there was some rules for using wrecking balls with Stompas and stuff. And people did similar things like that where they'll get like a spheroid shape, maybe like a styrofoam ball or whatever, and they'll just clad it in armor, you know?
Yeah.
And then go at it from there. Just stick loads of spikes onto it and whatever else. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the front of this kit in that there's a bit of a gap in the armor, which I'm less than chuffed with. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, you're fixing up the...
Well, there's a gap in the upper and lower glacis plate on this Tiger tank that I need to fill in this kit. I haven't had the best connection, and then this armor plate on the back, I need to squeeze that in and get some rubber bands or stuff. I have clamps, but they're too strong and they don't span enough, but they're like they're way too strong. You know what I mean? So I need to get something I can clamp, maybe get some rubber bands, and then I'll flush that up a bit. I'm not too worried. I'm just sort of doing this for the lols. You know yourself.
Oh, that's a cool idea. I'm still just, I'm thinking about converting something else. I've got an old Basilisk here.
Ooh. Give us a look.
And here it is. Get it in.
Yep.
It might be a little bit of... You can see it? Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm thinking I might convert one of these into an Orc Basilisk.
Sweet, yeah.
For my my Grot Guard army.
Oh, you're doing a Grot Guard, eh?
Oh, not entirely. I'm doing like a humans that work alongside the Orcs kind of army. So like a Blood X.
Yeah.
More like a... Yeah, because I've still got a lot of my guard models. I've got a lot of the old Talon and some Valhallans now. So I was thinking it's unlikely that the Valhallans will work with the Orcs because they hate them. But let's just say that things are getting really dire and they need to work alongside them. So something like that. Or,
The situation has definitely hit the drops if the Valhallans up on the Orcs.
Yeah, because Orcs will work alongside humans if there's chaos or Tyranids involved, on the whole.
But I do like that in the old lore. There's a lot of tribute paid to like Blood Axes, where you would have like they wouldn't be Imperial Guard, but they'd be human units. You know what I mean? So they'd pay tribute. Some really interesting lore.
Yeah, that's what I like about it too, is Orcs and humans fighting side by side. Because, I mean, they use Ogrins, right? And Ogrins tend to run off with the Orcs anyway. If they're left alone, they'll think they're cool and run off with them and want to fight by them. So, so I just think that... Yeah. They just and the Orcs just think they're hilarious, really. So
I
so
actually
they keep
have.
them around.
I have some, Gus. You're speaking my lingo here. I have some like second ed Ogrins put aside for an Imperial advisor for my blood axes that eventually I want to do. I actually do have a few Imperial pieces. Maybe I'll show you. I've got like a squad of Stormtroopers that I'm gonna. I eventually plan like I'll use them as commandos because you can get them in like squads of 5, so they'll be sort of like little Imperial. They'd be like part of whatever planets are the protectorate of of my blood axe clan. I actually have them just here. I have a few bits actually, some of the old guard stuff, but it's the Stormtrooper dudes. These were sent out to me by none other than our Dreadwire Gaming, Artie from Dreadwire Gaming, or Dread. There's loads of Dreads knocking around. He did, the old Stormtrooper. There's a few of them.
Oh yeah, they're cool.
So give me enough for like 5, I think, these old dudes. And a few other bits and pieces. He sent me like Acadian Command Squad and stuff like that. A few models off of that. And what else did he send me? He sent me like Schaefer, I think it's Schaefer's Last Chancers. To do with the sword and the plasma pistol. So I could do a few bits. You know what I mean? I could do up a few bits and pieces. Cool. They'll be stored away for when, you know, eventually I get a critical mass of miniatures for that project. You know, it's just a little project, but slowly build it up, little bits and pieces. So do Primaris never. Solving the abuse. Dread is saying working on my house, been buying a lot of 28mm naps, Napoleonics for when I get time to paint again. Oh, very nice, man. Very nice. The last time I remember watching you doing videos about your home, Dread, you were doing the back garden. I don't know if you still are. Maybe it was a while ago. You were attacking the overgrowth that was the back garden many years ago.
Oh, is that Dread? Solvent Abuse UK.
It's a different Dread. There is more than one Dread.
Oh, nice.
This is Dreadlone. He's got Solvent Abuse is his channel. He does some really cool stuff.
Definitely going to check that out.
A lot of Machina Krieger stuff and doing. I remember him doing dioramas and messing around with plaster and making it look like reinforced concrete with rebar coming out of cracked and stuff like that. He does some cracking stuff. He does.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely cracking stuff.
Did you say? Yeah, that's really cool. I've painted all these. I just needed to dry.
I'm going to avoid gluing the crew in for this bolt action tank because I'm not too enamored with the cast. Doesn't look great. It's a bit meh for me.
See, I've got an old Yarrick here.
Ah, I have him as well. Nice.
Yeah. Cool model.
I love
the
Yarrick would
ever fight alongside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have him to fight alongside, eh? Your force?
Well, I was just thinking for the Orc army, for the Orc human army, I will put him in there as a leader or something. Because the Orcs respect him, right? That's the whole thing.
Oh yeah, big time. Big time.
He's supposed to be respected. Yeah.
He's a proper git.
Yeah, that's right.
Proper scrap. I think a lot of Orc players like Yarrick. You know.
Yeah.
I always like the Steel Legion, the Armageddon Steel Legion troops. I always liked the look of them. I always thought they were cool as well.
Yeah, the Steel Legion. Yeah, they are really cool. I do think they're cool as well.
These turrets.
And their lore is quite. I like the lore with the Orcs there. That they're, that they fight. Yeah, I think the Steel Legion is what got me into that idea. Basically.
Some cracking miniatures.
Stealing stuff. I've only got 10 of them. Got 10 Steel Legion. It's one squad.
Well, they did a re-release of them not too long ago, or they did a reprint, not a re-release as such. They did a reprint of them not too long ago, so I'm sure you can get your hands on some of them at a reasonable price if you keep your eyes on the lookout. And who knows, maybe they might do another release of them again, another wave of them. You never know with Games Workshop. Be nice if they did them in plastic, mind you, but we'll see.
Well, I think they will. I think there's just been enough people that want to collect the guard in plastic that I think they'll release Krieg for sure in plastic. They get enough people that want to buy them, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, they would definitely release those in plastic.
This turret is loose. Gonna have to wedge some plastic card in there. Tighten that fit up a bit. Weird. Very strange. Maybe I just haven't been putting it together correctly, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. Mostly Zen, this is Thomas and I. Forget you do these live. Thought you were going to record it for later. Nah, Tom, I haven't done a recorded video in like 6 months at this stage or something like that. It's mostly the live videos. And get some hobby done and have a laugh with it.
Tommy Grimbrooder said, I remember seeing a rhino as a wrecking ball on a stomper. Well, that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
It's massive. I wonder what they used to hold it up. Yeah, what they would have used to hold the stomper, that rhino up. Did they use a chain or something?
I think it was a chain, if I remember correctly. Oh, I've seen some absolutely hilarious stompers, Gus. Absolutely hilarious ones. Like Mr. Potato Head ones. Did you ever see them? Where people get the Mr. Potato Head and clad them.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of those. That as a stomper, yeah, they look great. Yeah. Oh, a sync plug chain there. There you go. That's what he said. So, yeah, they look awesome. I really want to make one of those, Mr. Potato Head Gorkanauts or stompers. You know, this looks so cool.
They do indeed. They do look cracking.
Yeah, they look great.
Oh,
I saw someone make a bear.
A bear?
Like a chibi bear.
Chibi bear.
Like a teddy bear that was actually a Gorkanaut. I forget what his name. It's another YouTuber. But did a really great Gorkanaut. Yeah, it's really cool.
Sweet. Some interesting ones. I've seen ones where people have taken the current kit and they've kit bashed it around a bit so it looks like it's a squig. You know what I mean? They mixed up the configuration so that the belly of it is kind of like the back of it. If you get me, that sort of thing. So it opens up on its back, or you know, I've seen it where it's like kind of like a T-Rex and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. A T-Rex Gorkanaut sort of thing.
Yeah. With little tiny like arms.
That's awesome.
Thomas saying,
Well,
Mrs. Zane. Sorry, go on, fire away.
Oh, no, it's no. Oh no, just saying you don't need big arms for the Gorkanaut if it's got big guns attached to it. I guess you know.
This is it, man.
Or yeah, and its claw could be its teeth, you know, chomping down on something.
Yeah, big gob, big gob of chompy.
Yeah. You could just call it chompy.
There you go. Named the null. Tom was saying Mrs. N is totally hammered and trying to karate me. We're in bed. Dog is not impressed. Now she's got her sleep mask on and she's telling me about weird dreams she's had. Oh, Tom. Poor Tom. Mrs. N's been going hard on the rum, drinking like a sailor. Fair play. Sounds like fun times, Tom.
It does sound like fun.
Now Mrs. N is insisting we use our own furniture that we never owned. I've learned to just just to agree. Just nod and agree, Tom. You're right. Just yes, dear. Of course, dear. Yes. This man is experienced. I love it. So yeah,
that's awesome.
This tank, I think, is pretty much nearly done. There's a few little bits and pieces I need to put on. I haven't even decided on a color for
Oh,
this.
let's
Gus.
see.
It's getting there. It's
What color would you? I mean, what color scheme are you looking at?
I don't know. I really don't. Like I bought the Panzer Aces paint set, which is a case set that Vallejo do. So I should have like appropriate colors for like the rubber on the wheels and the metal and the rust, and the actual camouflage colors. I should have like appropriate colors for it. I just don't know. Maybe like desert camo or something, or I haven't decided yet. You know what I mean? I mean, I've left it on poor Gus close cam.
Yeah.
We've been staring at him. I haven't.
Yeah, I just realized that I was wondering what I was. Yeah.
It's like, why am I the center of attention?
In the zone of. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Putting you in the spotlight, Gus. Putting you in the spotlight. Yeah, I haven't. Helps if I keep the tank on camera. I haven't decided on the color scheme yet, but I definitely need to wedge. I'm not happy with how loose this turret is. If you see there's a bit of play, so there's two connectors, two lugs that connect up into the body. That's how you sort of stick it in and counterlock it. But there's still, even when there's a lot of play in that, so I need to just put in a bit of plastic card on each of these very thin pieces of plastic card, and I'll reduce the play in that, because that's a bit too loose even for me. And
yeah, that is pretty loose.
I'll sort it out. So I need a machine gun.
Unless you can get some magnets.
Nah, man, magnets is hassle. Like, you'd have to build a substructure up and then magnetize. Do you know what I mean? I'd have to build something here to magnetize to it. Yeah. It's grand. Just plastic. It's plastic kit. If it wasn't a plastic kit, it'd be hassle. But I do think just less, like 0.5 mil plastic card either side. Try and fit it. If it doesn't work, file it down a little bit and then try and fit it again. I think that'll get the play sorted on it. You know what I mean? I don't think it'd be anything too crazy. Kirgut's Mech Shop is saying, time for some Lego. Not today, I'm afraid.
What's that reference about the Lego?
Oh, I did Star Wars. The missus bought me some Lego busts. So like there's like a Lego helmet series. So she got me a TIE Fighter pilot helmet, and she got me a Stormtrooper helmet. And originally I was hemming and hawing about doing videos on the channel about them. So I just decided to do in one of the live hobby hangouts with Poke a few weeks ago. We did a live hobby hangout and we built one, and I still have the other one. Still have the other helmet behind me here that I haven't built yet, but they're these kits, so they're busts, but they look cool.
Oh, yeah, let's have a look. That's
the Stormtrooper one, still in its box. I haven't cracked it out yet, but
it does look cool.
It's pretty sweet. It's well impressed. Mrs. was asking me what I want for my birthday. I was like, those helmets you bought me, they're actually decent. I wouldn't say no to another one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
they're really decent, eh?
They are indeed.
Lego is definitely doing quite well. Its new Star Wars stuff is great.
Oh, some absolutely cracking stuff, man. Great primer. Do it on May the 4th. Also high. Hey, Nick. Troublemaker Nick, you're such a troublemaker, man. I've like 3 Zaku's, a Gundam, and an SD built now. He reminded me that I had bought kits, and then I bought more. So this is partially your fault, Nick. I'm blaming you. I totally am. Saying do it on May the 4th. Well, that's not a bad idea. What is it, 2 days from now? What day is it? Yeah, I could do. That's Tuesday, isn't it? Well, there you go. We might do a... It's not a bad idea, Nick. Might do a live May the 4th build. What do people think? What do you think, Gus? Good idea?
Definitely. I think it's a good idea, man.
Oh, there's no way this is going to hold.
Before you start your new job,
This is it. I'll be starting a new job soon enough. Happy days. But yeah, made a fourth stream. Not a bad idea. We're gonna use the commander that I don't like to prop up the machine gun while it dries. Oop.
I'm just sponging out these Gearguts Meganobs.
So what's your technique for painting? So you start off and you base coat them black, is it, and then work up, or how would you go about them?
So with this guy, there's a bit of lag on mine, but you can see there's this guy I did black first, and then I do like a dry brush of this kind of, I mix it's Sunburst, Avalon Sunset, and from GW, and Abomination Gore from Army Painter, and I just mix it up, and then I do like a darker tone first, and then I lighten it up over time. This one's more of a darker tone here, and then one of these, probably like my Battle Wagon, has a lighter tone.
Oh, nice.
It's a very simple way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it gets a very effective and nice finish, like.
Yeah, I like the finish. So it's just, I usually just do probably an undercoat of black, like a spray paint, and then I'll just go over it. And if I want to make the rust look like different areas, because I don't own any rust paint, it came out of the idea that at the time I was a poor student, I couldn't afford anything, so I just
used
two paints.
Yeah,
well, and look, then I
orange and brown, like you can do a lot of rust work with just like an orange and a brown, and you know what I mean. The world is your oyster, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I have a little bit of white. I'm actually running out of white. This paint pot has lasted me years. White paint pot. But yeah, then I do white just to highlight, skulls or whatever, or faces. Yeah. And it's pretty much just so I can lazily play them as any Orc clan.
Ah, really. Crafty. You're the Rust clan.
Yeah,
so
you
can be played as whatever clan suits you at that point.
Exactly.
I'm wise to your ways here, Gus. Wise to your crafty ways.
There's a bit of sneaky. A bit of cunning in there.
Cunning.
Whichever one's, the best at the moment.
Ah, that's it. Chasing the meta. I love it.
Yeah.
Dave has joined us and he said he's...
play enough.
Do you play a lot?
Oh, I don't know. I only probably play a few times a year. Where I live right now, there's not a huge amount of people that play, but in the future I'll be getting back into it. Playing tournament. I've played probably 3 games of 9th edition total. So not that many.
Yeah, about the same as me. 3 or 4 games, mostly online. Yeah. In fact, all of them online. I think I've played 4 games of 9th.
Grey Primer, is that Nick?
Nick.
Grey Primer said, I'm full of ideas, especially when I'm procrastinating and avoiding editing. I know that feeling.
Yep. What was Geargood saying? Few people have used Gundams. The style you've made as inspiration to the Croc armors design, so you're getting to be orky without being orky. This is true. This is very true. Always a good idea, folks, to have 2 different viscosities of the Tamiya Cement. So like the thicker one and the thin one. I suggest buying both.
Yeah, that is a good tip.
Well, like the thicker one here, because this is a small piece, I can just use the standard thick plastic glue, and it's got enough viscosity in it that it'll just hold that light in there. But then if you want them to join other pieces up, maybe follow the line or something, you don't want to splodge too much on. The extra thin is really nice, actually. I haven't looked back since. I'd like to try, what's it called, Mr. Hobby? Or Mr. Is it Mr. Plastic or?
This is how this guy's coming along.
Ooh, give us a look.
You can see him.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. A bit of and I'll do like a white sponge on the face. just to make it look like he's a.
And you're sponging everything on, are you? You're going for a sponging technique.
Yeah. That's I always use these kind of sponges. Just any sponge will do. Actually, just any sponge like this. Mine looks like trash because it's kind of trash. It was taken from I don't even know where I got this sponge, but any sponge will do. You know, the ones with the small holes in there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Nate. Nate's here. The Australian is here.
The Aussie's here. Oh, we're in trouble, lads.
Aussie's here.
The Thunder from down under. He's here. He's arrived.
Yeah.
Trouble on legs. Grey primer. Nick has asked me, Scar, were you using the severed corpse of a tank driver to hold that gun in place while it dried? That's grim. I was, because I'm not too enamored with the casting quality of this commander. It's doesn't look amazing to me. I've been spoilt now with like Gundam Kits. The crispness on the casts is just like Jesus, shocking. I do have more kits to do. I don't know whether I'm gonna do unboxings in the future, but I bought a couple of these like box sets that come with snacks, which is weird. So I have two of these, and then maybe later on I'm already starting to eye up some like perfect grades, some like expensive kits. Starting to look at them and salivating a lot. So you never know what the future holds.
How are you looking forward to the new Orc release? Scar, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm just sort of kind of waiting to see what comes out. You know what I mean? I'm not jumping on the hype train. You know what I mean? That's Steve-O's job out of like the 4 war bosses. Steve-O, he stokes that fire and you know, and toots that horn for the hype train. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what comes out. You know what I mean? I'd be interested to see what the full release will be like and what the time frame is on a new codex. I'm very interested to see what comes out of it. Yeah. What about yourself?
I think I'm interested to see if there's a mega armored war boss.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
I know I spoke to Gear Guts before about it, and he said there might be one. So who knows?
It would be cool.
That'd be exciting if there was.
It would be very cool if there was.
It would be cool. We got our mega armored war boss back. That'd be great.
Back in the codex.
So yeah, I'm kind of into that. I like the mega armored war boss. I like the 2+ save. You know, I want mega knobs to get a bit better. If I could say something.
So what improvements do you think they could give for mega knobs? Like what if there was changes made to them? What would you like to see?
Toughness 5 for knobs and mega knobs because they're supposed to be pretty tough. You know, they're tougher than a normal Orc boy. So I'd say toughness 5 for those two. For me personally, and it would make strength 8 weapons and stuff be, you know, wound on 3s instead of wounding on 2s that they currently do, and giving them some form of invulnerable save or feel no pain or something across the board for orcs, or just mainly mega knobs. Anything like it could be a 5-up invulnerable save, but yeah.
So you'd like to see some more survivability, with the mega knobs.
I think their power. Yeah. What do you think?
No, I think you're onto something there. I think like for the points costs and what they're supposed to represent on the battlefield, like I could see if they were given a bit more ability for longevity on the battlefield, that would be awesome. But I don't know, like I feel like the way 40k is, there's just so much stuff throws out so much damage, like, you know.
Yeah.
I think if they left them the way they are and just made them cheaper points wise, you know what I mean, that would help as well, because you could just have more of them, if you get me.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea either. If they made them like What are they currently, like 40 something points?
I think so.
A bit
Can't
more than
remember off the
Ogren.
top of my head.
Yeah, I think they're like 42 points or something like that. But yeah, making them like 30, making Mega Knobs about 30 points because Ogren are 35 and they're a lot better. So I would say 30 points or less, and they'd be definitely.
I never even thought about
Ogren are
that.
just yeah, well, just because I also play Imperial Guards, so
I don't
Ogren
even
are
bother fixing the
just-
Mega Knobs. Just give us Ogren as well. There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Both. Bit of column A, bit of column B. Bit of both.
Yeah, that's right. Some humans
I'd be happy with that.
for the orcs. Yeah, I know you would, because you're well into the guard as well, eh?
I am. It's surprising I never collected an Imperial Guard army.
Yeah, this man.
Yeah, I'm very surprised I never did. Mostly Zen is saying that he's pretty much the Rusty clan too. So it seems you're not the only one who's latched onto this secret of yours, you crafty devils.
Yeah.
A lot of you. These are some Gundam tanks, or Gunpla tanks. So they're 1 in 44th scale Federation tanks. So what I'm going to be doing is, these are all just push fit together. So there's no gluing in these at all. These are all just, like all of the Gundam stuff, they're just push fit together. But I'm just going to run Tamiya extra thin cement through the tracks and whatnot, and glue these together. And I might see about trying to get like I don't even know what color these tanks are supposed to be, but they're hilarious because they've got like 2 battle cannons. What's not to love? And
yeah, they are really cool. They're awesome.
Try throw an olive drab on them, I think, Gus. That's what I might do. Might olive drab them up. See how that goes. But they're super crisp, man.
They need a bit of camouflage if they're going to be fighting Gundams.
Like, look at the difference in the crispness of the detail between these 2 kits. Like, this is Bolt Action's Atelieri kit, and then this is Bandai's kit, and this is a smaller scale again, and it's like super crisp. I'm well impressed.
I think those Bandais are really crisp. Yeah,
they are
super detailed.
Very impressed.
For such a small thing.
Yeah. For the kits. Only thing I'm not a fan of is this bit on the underneath, but apart from that, like, this is all, and this is a push click miniature. Do you know what I mean? This is push fit. I'm still in awe with this stuff. That's what I can't get over. Fit. This is all push. There's no glue on this at the moment. This is all push fit together. Like, it's just mad. Absolutely.
So, what do you think you'd like to? Yeah, it looks amazing, man. It looks awesome. What do you think you'd like to see out of? If we were going to talk about like the psychology of Warhammer, what would you like to see in Warhammer?
What would I like to see?
Like, yeah.
I think the thing I'd be interested in is the players themselves. Is there a specific disposition between specific personality traits? Because what is it? Each person has, like, I don't know a lot about psychology, but there's like the big 5, isn't there? Your personality traits as an individual. I'd be interested to see if there's a correlation with people with, who score high in specific personality traits, if they're drawn to specific factions and what they represent. I'd find that very interesting. Yeah, that'd be, I don't know, I've always kind of found it interesting how other people think, you know what I mean? Especially people who think different than me. I've always found it interesting to try and understand why other people would be really into like an army and I'm not. It's like, well, I'm interested in why you'd be interested in that. You get me? I'm saying interested a lot here, but I just find that I don't know why. I've always sort of thought that way. It's like, okay, you don't like the same things as me, and then my brain's like, why? Why don't you like the same things as me? Not as an inquisition, but more sort of a general curiosity.
Yeah, and Tom listed the personality traits down there because Tom, yeah, so obviously Zen did. Um, so what do you think? Do you think that all players tend to be a bit more extroverted on the whole,
Um,
or open? You know, I mean, they'll probably have a few, but there's yeah, you can. It's an interesting to think about. Yeah, the different traits. I think that's a great thing that we could add in at the end of videos. So you've given me another idea, Scar.
oh, there you go.
Is
Go
what to
with
add
it,
in.
man. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Um,
Tom was saying, what was it? The big five personality traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion/introversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And he was saying, I'm not sure how they might match up with 40k preferences, but it's an interesting thing to ask. It is, yeah. I've no idea how it would pan out myself. I mean, I've some good feelings on things, but I'm pretty sure I'd be wrong. I'm not a professional. But I think like if there was a study done, do you know what I mean? Could you imagine there was a study done on 40k players? Like I think that'd be really cool to see what way people score, like what their personality traits would be, how people would score.
well, I could set up a Likert scale to find that out. That's the thing.
Well, this
What
is
army they play. I mean, there's a lot of armies now. Then how open they are to different things, and then from that we could make a little basis of that. And it would be a huge generalization. Obviously, there's like differences between individuals and everything, but still, we could if we could gather enough data to do it, yeah, man, we could say maybe Orc players a bit more open. I don't know, but from what I've encountered, I don't know. It definitely depends on the person. But there is definitely a thing that's drawn from Orc players. I do see that there are a lot of similarities between us Orc players. Yeah.
But
it's also like,
even not going so far as people's personalities, I find that people who are into orcs might also have they might have they might be drawn to other armies as well. So like orcs, a lot of people who play orcs, quite a few of them like Imperial Guard or Tyranids. There's a bit of crossover in the Venn diagram of factions, kind of. Now obviously there's like people who are outliers and stuff like that, but it would be interesting. You play orcs, what other factions do you like? You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the one. As an Orc player, I just see everything else that every other faction has as like something I can loot.
Oh, potentially.
Something that I can turn into something else. And everyone has something cool, I think. I think every army has something that's interesting that you can loot and turn into, that's how I see it. So yeah, I mean, some people say that orcs have the cheapest army. To me, I don't know if they've got the cheapest army.
I wouldn't go saying that sometimes now, Jesus.
No, exactly. I think the amount of other kits we buy to turn into something orky is I was speaking to someone the other day and they said that what was it? Yeah, Nate said I haven't had enough coffee to be getting into this deep mentality of why wargamers do this. Yeah, it is early in the morning in Australia, Nate.
Was it like
I was talking to.
Go on.
Yeah. I was just talking to Gear Guts actually about why where was my train of thought? Why we collect, well, Orc players kind of buy everything, don't they? Like we might not just buy Orcs. We tend to buy a few other things because we think of the potential it could be used as an Orc kit. Because really everything is an Orc kit, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's where
maybe apart from
there might be some disgruntlement with the direction that Games Workshop's going in steering away from that sort of culture of the game. you get me? Where, you know, tightening up rules as to what represents what on the battlefield might diminish that somewhat. So I can understand where that stems from.
I get that. That there's but I mean, orc players will always find a way, isn't that right?
Ah, yeah, definitely, yeah. Like people playing Grok Guard armies, it's like you're playing an Imperial Guard army, but then you're going out of your way to make units out of like 2 box sets. So you're getting Gretchen, and then you're also getting Imperial Guard bits, and you're getting bits from over here. So it's really interesting.
You can end up being more expensive.
Oh yeah, totally. It would do. Like if I was doing something like that, I'd want to get a Thunderbolt instead of a Dakajet, and a Thunderbolt is like 3 times the cost of the Dakajet kit. You know what I mean? It's like you can go mental with it. Yeah, you definitely could. You can go mental with it. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
But you know, your imagination's the limit. We've got a good few comments going on here. The Pale was saying toughness 5, extra wound, kill cells, +1 attack pair, and lose the -1 to hit. I think he's talking about the Meganobs. 5+ cyborgs. He's saying you've got a printed scar, you could do Geargoat's Orc Guard. This is true, could do. Yeah, Tom was talking about the personalities. He's not sure about Orc players, maybe slightly more open and slightly less conscientious. Maybe, Tom. We'd have to see what the data says. Sci-Fi has joined us. He said, I did a D&D alignment test thingy and was overwhelmingly chaotic evil. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's awesome. Chaotic evil, eh? So you would definitely be, I don't know. We'll have to ask him later. Anyway, keep going. Let's go.
This worries me now, because Sci-Fi speaks a lot of sense to me sometimes. But anytime I've played D&D, I've always sort of leaned towards chaotic neutral. So that you know what I mean? He's a bad influence, that Sci-Fi. You'll have to steer clear of him, I'm telling
you.
Thomas saying...
What is... Oh, no, keep going.
Chaotic neutral?
Yeah, what is chaotic neutral?
I'm trying to remember what chaotic neutral was, but it's sort of like what way did I play it? I was a teenager when I first played D&D. I think I was 17, and I played a rogue. So it was like I went around stealing things when it suited me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't go out of my way to be an evil bollocks, but if I could get away with crime now and then, you know what I mean, I would. That sort of... Yeah, I think like chaotic neutral would be like non-violent criminals, whereas chaotic evil would be someone who'd go out of their way to do harm. I think I could be wrong here. It's been a long time since I played D&D. Tom was saying he finds the amount of people on the autistic spectrum interesting in our hobby, but that's a different question. That is another question, but it is also very interesting, Tom.
Yeah.
Orc stuff are saying, did you use to get bits from the scrapyard to keep your force car running? If yes, then you're probably an orc.
Yeah. Shameless Soul said that orc players are 100% the most fun people at Warhammer tournaments. That is very true. I've met a lot of orc players in when I've walked around tournaments in New Zealand, and they are hilarious people. They always willing to show you their war boss, what it looks like, or their crazy truck or something. But yeah.
I can remember the last few times we went to Warhammer World, me and some of the gits from the WA forum, and we used to do that if there was a tournament on. We'd go over way to see if there's any orc players, and just to see like their army, their conversions, and we'd always, you know what I mean, so there'd be like an orc player playing in a tournament, you know, and then they'd get moral support from like 8 to 10 orc players going, yeah, go on, that looks, you know, and they may not be winning, but we were still like, give them mail, you know what I mean? And I think that's an interesting thing with orcs is you can put your own spin and flavor on it. You don't have to, but you can, and it's always nice as an orc player finding another orc player and seeing what their spin on their army is. Do you know what I mean? So it's like even if you're the same clan, They might do things differently, whether that's paint job or conversions. It's always interesting to see other orc armies.
Yeah, yeah, it is. They're yeah, there is a thing about orc players as well, and they will cheer for you um even if that's not their army. So, like for example, Tabletop Titans put out a video the other day, and everyone said, "Oh, do orcs win this one? Is it worth watching? Do they win?" So it's like, your favorite team, your favorite sports team. Are they, are they winning? Should I even bother watching the match? Do they win in the end? So it's yeah, it's kind of like that with orcs. You get, everyone who plays orcs or loves orcs is always going to root for them and just hope they win, you know.
This is it. But they'll have fun in the process either way. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's the thing. Like, it's all about blowing stuff up the time anyway. Yeah.
Like I was
And
forever.
seeing.
Go on.
Yeah.
I was,
no, you go on.
I was forever someone. Apologies if it seems like we're talking over each other. There's a little bit of lag between us. We're not, specifically trying to interrupt each other. There is a little bit of lag. So if you're wondering why, that's the explanation for it. But like when I've played 40k, and when I played quite a lot, especially in like 5th edition, and I was playing against my mate who played Imperial Guard. Like me and my mate used to play 40k a lot. Like I remember there was a day where we played, I think, 4 or 5 games in a 24-hour period. We were mad, all right? We were nuts.
Yeah.
But I was forever, like, I can always remember me knob with the power claw getting into close combat, killing his vehicle, and then I'd be cheering for the vehicle to blow up because I found it entertaining that my orcs would go in, blow shit up, and some of them would die because it would be hilarious. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's that sort of mentality. When you and your opponent are rooting for the vehicle to explode, it's like, yes.
yeah, that's right, and that's the thing, eh? That's awesome, bro. That's like,
yeah, that sort of spirit of the game. I've always found that sort of thing fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you're playing the game together.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of it's a joint experience. Like I've never enjoyed playing and then tabling someone and not really losing anything. It doesn't feel like a sort of a genuine experience for me. You know what I mean? I think that's why I never really delved into competitive tournament play, because it's not the type of game that I personally want to play. I'm not saying it's, that tournament play is bad. Some people thrive on competitive play, and you can really see people who enjoy it. They get really into the meta and really into list building and, tactics and counter tactics, and if they lost the battle, learning the lessons and stuff like that. I can see where people get their joy out of that. But for me, it's more sort of the experience of playing the game and enjoying the social experience with the other player. That's what I kind of enjoy. I'm more of a narrative style player, I think, most definitely.
Yeah, I get that. That's kind of something I enjoy as well. Is the narrative experience. In saying that, I can see the pull for competitive orc now.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because there is there's definitely something fun about not I don't mind how many I lose, but just someone going as hard as they can against you and you going as hard as they can, but also you both enjoying the game.
Yeah.
Like seeing the fun. I kind of like that aspect of it. And I've definitely come across some players who definitely like to play like that, as that are kind of, you would consider competitive players.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with it though. But I think it's, you know what I mean. There's no right or wrong way to consume the hobby. There's people who just paint. There's people who just like building and converting. There's the Venn diagram of hobby that each person's into. You know what I mean? Some people will be really into the game, and like for myself, I've found that it chops and changes. So like, if I don't like the rule set of a specific edition, like my gaming aspect of the hobby wanes a bit, and I'll be more into just painting stuff and doing conversions.
Yeah, yeah,
So it wax and wanes for me. Like it can change throughout the editions.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. That's I agree, man. I think it's just like you're always gonna love building and painting. If you're an orc player, you probably love the building part, the converting part the most. On the whole, no, that's a generalization, but I think like on the whole, we do love to build and paint. How do you feel about that, Scott?
I think most people, yeah. But as you're saying, like there's gonna be outliers. Like I'm sure there's people who are
Totally.
just into the competitive aspect and play orcs and don't really care for painting or conversions. Like I was a bit like that myself at one point. I was really just into the playing the game and I didn't really care about painting the miniatures or converting them. I just wanted to get them built as soon as possible to play the game. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
like my Venn diagram of priorities hobby wise has shifted in that regard. I'm not as fussed about, you know, what units are great in the current edition or the codex as much as I was previously. And I'm more
Mm.
sort of, does that shooter look cool? You know, that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm more fussed about that type of thing. Can throw some black primer
I
on
get.
these Federation tanks.
These guys are coming along nicely. I'll show you a little bit of them so
Gives
far.
a look, gives a goosey gander. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, yeah. There's a little bit of lag on the video, so I don't know if I've shown it to you yet, but they're
You've shown it to me, but there's lag between us and the stream. I think might be putting you off.
yeah,
But
yeah. So
I'm
they're
liking
looking.
the white skull. It's sort of reminding me of like the white hand of Sauron on the Urukai type of vibe. You get me?
Yeah, yeah. That's well. I am from New Zealand, so
I
that's
see. It's all starting
that's
to
the
it's
yeah.
all starting to make sense now. You know what I mean?
There you go. It could be the isolation of the country, or it could be that, or it could be that I've watched way too many Lord of the Rings films. But on the whole, I
Look,
do like to paint
blasphemy,
white faces as
blast!
well.
You can never watch too many Lord of the Rings films and extended edition cuts as well. Always, always.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We've a few comments here. So the
Well, I have
drunken
a.
go on for it.
No, no, keep going. Read the comments out. It's about time.
It's
Look at the
about
comments.
time. We'll have a gander.
Um,
So drunken orc was saying, if GW opened up the looted wagon rules again, I'd buy so many non-orc kits on top of the usual orc kits. It's a no-brainer. Yeah, Tommy's agreeing, saying it's same easy money for them. I'd agree with you there, lads. I think they'd make an absolute bleeding fortune if they brought back the
yeah,
looted wagon rules. I need to dilute this
100%.
primer a little bit. Drunk, he was saying, honestly, I don't think they don't do it. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason that they pick up on, but I can't see it. Yeah, I get you. I don't know. I think they've dropped the ball on that one, to be honest with you. Pale is saying, if ever met another pale orc player, I would embrace him as a brother. That's still me in every game now. Sci-Fi was saying the WA forum meets were great. Auto exploding vehicles. Yeah, that's true. We did do some
Yeah.
house ruling on vehicles. We would play big, massive apocalypse games, and back when there used to be wrecks littering the battlefields, we just made up a rule where it was like, right, just to keep things tidy and keep the game moving on, everything auto explodes, like everything, and it was entertainment at its finest. You couldn't not like it.
Yeah.
And for those viewing, yes, I am brushing on spray primer again. Again, the madness.
So how do you brush on spray primer? Can you just give me a little bit of a lowdown? I didn't even know. I know there's brushing on paint, but primer?
Yeah, it's just primer. It's a
That's a
bottle of Vallejo surface primer, and it can be either brushed on
okay.
or it can be. It's primarily you can just put it straight into your airbrush and spray it on. And now you're going to get a more consistent finish if you're going to spray it on. But yeah, it's just like surface primer. I've had this for years, man. I
Nice.
probably should get a new bottle of it soon enough. But I think it's cool.
So it's lasted a while then.
Oh yeah, but sure, Jesus. You know, I'm not exactly renowned for for painting lots of miniatures. You know what I mean? I'm not known for my mountains of painted miniatures. I'm more renowned for my mountains of grey plastic, you know?
Yeah.
To the point where when someone gave me a compliment about painted miniatures before lockdown in February last year, it's not even this year, it was the year before, it was the last game of 40k I played in person was 8th edition. And the dude was like, oh, I love your conversion. It looks like a kit. He was talking about my Blood Axe Wild Banner knob. He's like, oh, the paint job looks great. And I realised in that moment, because I spent most of my hobby playing with unpainted miniatures, like those words coming out of somebody else's mouth towards me were a very alien concept. I was like, this is weird, man. You get me? Very strange. Have we lost Gus? We may have lost Gus. Let's do a clicky. Are you still there, Gus? Will we have to carry on without you? Maybe the lag will catch up. Who knows? You'll have to give the router an old bash and go from there. But yeah, like me playing with unpainted miniatures was the norm for most of my gaming because, like I said previously, I was more interested back then in playing. Hey, he's back.
Hey, I'm back.
He's back in action. Way. I was talking about how it was very weird for me getting a compliment for having painted miniatures because most of my hobby has been with unpainted miniatures, so my brain couldn't quite grasp this concept of getting a compliment about painted miniatures belonging to me. If you get me.
Yeah, I get that. People were shocked and surprised about your first horror. The horror of grey plastic, right?
I know, the horror of painted miniatures. That's what it is. It's like, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, true.
You know?
I guess it's all perspective, too.
This is it. I'd be on an absolutely shocking job of priming this, but whatever. The horror.
This has been a really good stream, man.
Yeah. Surprisingly, you get stuff done. Like you don't notice it. Like it absolutely flies past, and you get a fair chunk of stuff done. If you need to bounce early, you just tell me, man. That's up to you. Normally, we give it about 2 hours. We wrap it up at about 11 o'clock here, which is roughly in about 20 minutes. But if you're strapped for time,
I don't know. I'm good. 20 minutes, yeah. 20 minutes. The time's just flown by.
Oh, yeah. You don't even realize. It's like, oh, yeah, nattering away. It's like, where did the 2 hours go? Or, even longer sometimes. It's like, how long have we been streaming? Jesus, how long? Yeah, that happens. Definitely.
Did you read what Grey Primer said, that you decanted a primer?
I thought for a sec that you decanted a rattle can of... Jesus. I know I'm Irish, but I'm not that crazy. Come on now, Nick. Decanted a rattle can of primer. No. That way lies madness. No. Not happening. I'm just being careful to try and not get paint stuck in between the points where these bottle cannons move. And
I think I'm pretty much done my gear guts making obs now.
Oh, sweet.
I think they're looking pretty good. I maybe need to add a few different layers of rust, but on the whole, don't want to. I mean, look.
Well, if you're happy with
what do you think?
The end result.
I'm happy, and I've got a few different. Pretty happy with the end result. Look kind of like that.
Give us a look. We'll do a close cam for you. Boop. Sweet.
Yeah, I'm lagging a little bit behind, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah, cool. I mean, I'm probably going to do a wash on the face, actually, now that I can see it on close cam.
Tone it down a bit, are you? Tone down the white?
Yeah, tone down the white. Make it look a little bit dirty.
Dirty. Charnel wash on that. But yeah, I'm thinking olive drab for these guys. Not too sure. We'll do sort of like green colors with a bit of...
Cheers, guys. Thanks for saying very cool and nice colors. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, they do look nice. Gear Guts is saying, just ordered sushi for dinner. Woo, solid meals. Nice. How's your gob healing there, Kyle? He went to the doc and he got his teeth replaced with a metal gob.
Saying with a metal gob, he's getting the war boss treatment.
This is it. He's moving up in the world.
Yeah, that's right.
He's moving up in the world. Place them. I was saying, will I be doing the end of stream work in progress show off Scar? I can't anymore, as I do when I'm chatting to whoever I'm chatting on these streams now. I'm doing it via Discord, so there's a lot of jiggery pokery. If you get me, I'd have to close out of the call with the person and go look at the forum. I haven't really figured out a way to just quickly streamline through, so that's why I haven't been doing the work in progress posts. It's not that I've been ignoring you guys. I just need to figure out a way, and I mean, if somebody knows a way to sort it out, because I used to do calls in Google Hangout, and then I don't do that anymore. It's easier to chat to people on Discord, but because I'm doing a private call on Discord, just the way I do the screen capture, I suppose I could try. I'm trying to think now myself how I would go about trying to do it differently. If I opened up another window and did another window capture and see if that'll work for future reference, I might be able to do it that way. But I'll have to experiment with that and see if my PC will actually do it, because by Christ, it needs to be replaced. Poor old Betsy.
Oh, so does mine, mate.
It's on its last legs. It's like recording 2 windows and streaming at the same time. Oof. Down with that sort of thing.
Oh, cheers, Greg. Remember the white head gives a great contrast against the rusty armor. Cheers.
Yeah, it does. It looks nice, man.
Oh, cheers, man. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing the rest of my Mega Knobs like that. I need to get some more Gear Guts ones, actually, now that I really do like painting them. They're really good to paint.
They're nice and chunky on the old detail, which is nice to put a brush on.
Yeah.
I found that it's really nice to get a brush on them.
Yeah. And if you want to just do a simple paint job, they look fantastic. Look real good. Easy to paint. That's what I like.
Detailed but not over cluttered. It's a nice balance.
That's the thing.
Yeah. That's what you want in a mini.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Hey, I found an old what do I have here? Found an old Kazakin.
An old Kazakin. How old are we talking?
I'll show you.
Oh, all right, cool.
Not that old. Yeah, the old. Yeah, he's great. That guy.
They're cool, man. Yeah, I like those dudes.
Yeah, they're
cool. Kazakin. They're pretty much Stormtroopers, weren't they? They're the replacements for Stormtroopers.
Yeah, they were.
And then they replaced them with weird guys with armor breastplates. I forget what they're called now. Tempestus Scions?
Oh, that's it, the Scions, yeah. Yeah, they replaced it with the Scions.
Which I personally found the Kazakin were much nicer miniatures in my opinion, but that's just
me too,
opinion. My opinion there.
I like the original Stormtroopers that you've got. I've got some of those as well.
Oh, they're nice, yeah.
In another room. Yeah.
They're very nice.
I think I've got about 20 of them or something. 25? Maybe 30?
Was that a sound investment back in the day, or did you go digging in deep pockets there?
It was both. It was mainly deep. I had probably like 5 before, and then I just was like, oh, I need to get more. And there was a guy in the UK that was selling them.
All right. Nice.
And they were just really nice models, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, they're very nice sculpts. I like that sort of era of sculpt. I like a lot of the metals from the early 2000s, late 90s. You know, the sort of when third edition sort of established itself and it went away from second ed, up into fourth edition, fifth edition sculpts. That sort of era of metal sculpts. I like a lot of the characters, like some of the Cadian. I think they're like lieutenants or commanders. They'd be the guys with like swords, with a glass pistol and the power fist. Quite a few of them look really nice.
Oh, they look great. Yeah, I love those ones.
They're really nice sculpts.
Yeah. The old metal ones.
Yeah.
They were just They
Something
were so
about
detailed
metal.
as well. Like
Yeah, they were. They were very
so-
detailed. Very, very detailed. Very nicely done.
I'm a huge metal head. Metal.
I
metal boy
do
in the
like
head.
the heft of a
Bit of a
metal
collector.
miniature in me hand, I have to say.
Yeah. And I did buy 30 metal commandos. The reason that they were metal. And they were cheap at the time. I think I got like 10 of them at a time. Just really cheap from someone selling them, clearing out their old models.
Yeah.
Moving-
Probably
moving on
before-
from the hobby.
Yeah, probably getting them. That's a good way to get models second hand, is probably before they're popular in the meta and someone's getting out of the hobby. That's like win-win right
Yeah.
there, because there's not a high demand for them, and then the person selling them probably isn't looking for top dollar most of the time if it's convenient, especially if I buy miniatures in kind of bulk. You know what I mean?
That's the thing, eh? Like when I bought them, they were terrible in the meta.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they were just no one wanted to use them. So I just thought they were cool, so I picked them up. That's the time you really want to get stuff, is when people don't think they're good,
Yeah.
because it swings and roundabouts in this
This
hobby.
is true. This is very true.
Your things are always going to be good again, or just buy what you like. That's what I always say to everyone: buy what you like.
Yeah, like when I started Orcs, I always kind of wanted to get me hands on one of each miniature or each unit. There's only a couple of miniatures that I didn't bother doing that with, and later on in the hobby, it's like, oh, well, I need to get my hands on. I would like to get my hands on some of them, but it's not that many miniatures. It's only one or two miniatures since I started playing Orcs. Like I bought I bought the mech that didn't have the custom force field just because I liked the look of the mech, and I wanted, I wanted one of every miniature, and that sort of paid off dividends now, because it was a miniature that not a lot of people collected because it didn't have the custom force field. So that it's not as common now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people just didn't want it, right? So because no one.
So you have to sort of
That's a
think
great
in that
miniature.
regard. Oh yeah, it's a cracking miniature. I love the sculpt. It's absolutely cracking sculpt. And then the metal war bosses as well. I bought a couple of them. I have a few of them.
Yeah, I've converted some of them. Yeah, but they are good models. I don't think I've got any that are the original pose now, though.
Oh, you've
been
changed them all up, have you?
Yeah. So they're all, but I love them, because they're all mine. They're all
Yeah,
my little
exactly. Yeah.
conversion.
You put your own twist on them. Like a lot of the conversions that I really enjoy is when people got the metal Gazgul and they got like the metal war boss, and they put like the metal war boss head in the Gazgul and made their own sort of war boss out of it, and then they do stuff like put a helmet on it or a hat or whatever. You know what I mean? They do sort of their own touch to it. I could not. Well, I suppose I could find a smaller brush to try and prime this. I really should be using a bigger brush. But it is what it is. Brack is saying hello. How come I never get these notifications? Probably because I can't spell them. I don't know,
Oh, hey,
Brack.
Brack. How's it going?
No idea, Brack. The rest of the Down Under crew cropping up. YouTube's a bit funny like that. YouTube has indeed sent me notifications 2 hours after I've started streaming, which I found interesting. It's like, oh, you've gone live. It's like, thanks. Thanks for the heads up there, YouTube. You couldn't make it up, I swear. But I'm just chipping away at this tank, putting a bit of black in it, and then I'll put some. I think I'll paint it in GW colors, or I might experiment with some of my Panzer Aces colors. I'm not too sure. I'm thinking sort of like a Stellan green, that sort of military olive drab. And then I could do
I think
bands of
camo?
Zandri dust. Camo, yeah, green. Green with sort of a khaki band, maybe.
Yeah.
The way the Cadians do them.
Oh, that'll look good.
That's the idea. I'm definitely going to need a bigger brush for this guy. There's no way. Orc Stuff is saying metal ones are a pain to mod. That is true, Orc Stuff. That's the one caveat I have on metal. It is a pain to modify them.
Yeah, it's a huge pain to modify.
They can be an absolute
I don't
pain.
tend to modify my metals unless it was the war bosses, and that was definitely a pain to mod. Definitely.
Well, this is it. That's the main advantage plastic has. And I suppose there's the cumulative effect of the carry case, you know what I mean? You drop your carry case and it's full of plastic miniatures, it's less likely to explode all over the floor. Or if you drop your case and it's full of metal miniatures, or, you know.
It's just gonna, unless they're monopose and they're one, like the old, what do you call them, old Stormtroopers or something. Unless they're like one pose, and they're not glued on, it's sweet. But if they're anything else, or the old Mordheim was such a great game. A bunch of old Mordheim.
I was tempted to get into it, but I never pulled the trigger. I always wanted to make like a dwarf warband, but I never. Don't know why. Oh, yeah. I never pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah, the dwarf treasure hunters, they were great.
Yeah, because they looked cool. Like, because they'd have pickaxes and stuff, and I always liked the look of the dwarf dudes. Necromunda I actually bothered to play, but I never got around to playing Mordheim. I did play Necromunda. I made an Orlok gang out of Katachan Jungle Fighters, which I still have to this day. The dude with the heavy stubber was called Big Joe, and I had to put him on like that, the second edition sort of heavy bolter platforms. It was like 2 wheels and a little pad for him to sit on, and he'd hold the heavy weapons teams. Remember those sort of second aid old school heavy weapons dudes?
Yeah, of course. I've still got some of them actually.
I got one of them, and what I did was I think the Baneblade kit wasn't out too long, and the plastic Baneblade kit we have, and I took the heavy stubber off of a Baneblade kit, and I think I put it on top of a Hunter Killer missile rail, and mounted it in that mount. So it was literally like the heavy. He had that little gun carriage, and that was his heavy stubber. And then I had a version of him painted up exactly the same, but without the gun. So like if his gun blew up or whatever, or he had to drop his heavy stubber, I had a variant of him without it. And that was Big Joe, folks. That was Big Joe. I still have him knocking around somewhere.
We should see. I show them one day if you can find them. But yeah.
Oh yeah, they're in a case somewhere. I do still have them. I do still have them.
Would you ever
having fun. Go on.
Have you tried Kill Team it? Have you given Kill Team a go? Because you can do that kind of stuff in Kill Team a bit.
Yeah, I've mucked around with Kill Team. I don't think I went down my way to make a custom Kill Team miniature wise yet, but I have mucked around with Kill Team. If I remember correctly, I dabbled quite a lot with Commandos because I was Blood Axe and I was like, Commandos, why not? And it's Kill Team. Why wouldn't you have like a Kill Team full of Commandos? They're like the de facto unit that should be used. You know?
Oh, 100%. And you can even play Snekrod in it, which Snekrod's probably my favorite model.
Yeah, man.
In the world, if they're out of the Games Workshop world.
He's a good miniature. I do like the sculpt. I really do like the current sculpt.
Yeah.
It does look sweet. I was well impressed when it first came out, and even to this day, I'm still enamored with him. But you went mad. How many sculpts of Snekrod do you have, Gus?
I've got 4 metal Snikrods. 5. Or 5? 4.
The man's obsessed. He doesn't even know how many he has.
3. 4. I've got 4.
4, 5, 3. 3, 5.
Yeah. I've got 4. I was just counting in my head. I sold one of them. That's right.
I can tell you how many I have, Gus. 1. I've 1 metal Snickrod.
Yeah.
It's like I've 1.
Nothing wrong with. Hey, you've still got one.
I still got one.
A bit.
I think I've
I just
two metal Zagstrucks, where one I bought originally, and then I think one was off of buying an army off of someone. I've done that a couple of times where people were getting out of their hobby and I just bought their armies off of them.
Yeah.
I've done that a couple of times. And typically I'll strip the paint off them unless they're painted really well. But I don't like having miniatures in my army that I didn't paint. So if somebody, like, if I bought an army off of someone and they painted it really well, I used to give it to me mates. So like I think someone had an Evil Sons army, and I gave a load of the Storm boys. I think it was like 10 or 20 of them. They were painted up really nicely. And I gave them to me mate Sci-Fi because he had Evil Sons. And I didn't, like, I can't, you know what I mean? If someone paints up miniatures really well, I just can't, for the life of me, because I've so many orcs, I just can't for the life of me strip the paint off them. I'd rather give them to someone who would enjoy them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
But for me personally, I can't. It's like stolen valor in my mind. Playing with miniatures that somebody else painted. I think that's the best.
I get that.
That's the best description of it. Yeah.
I put them on the shelf or something. I've got one miniature that I haven't painted. That's for like a chaos model. It's Lucius the Internal.
Yeah. Oh no.
It looks sick. Like, it looks great, but I can't play with it for the life of me because I didn't paint it.
Yeah. No, I totally understand, Gus. Yeah. I totally understand.
Yeah.
What was Grey Primer saying? Current Typestis Star Collecting set has some cracker science scopes in it, even if the included Torx vehicle isn't great. Nick was saying, is that what you got that Torx from?
Yeah, well, no, I got this from someone else who was selling the kit. So they, yeah, that Torx was, I mean, it doesn't really look like a Torx anymore. Well, it kind of does.
Well, no, we could tell straight away as soon as you held it up. I'm like, oh, that looks like a Torx Prime.
Oh, sweet. Oh, cool. Yeah. It was cheap. It was like a cheap one. I don't know, 15 quid.
Sid's cracking jokes. Lucius the Internal sounds pretty apt. Yeah, it does. It does indeed.
The Internal, yeah.
What was Nick saying? I find it's hard to see what I'm doing with metal minis when I'm modding them because of the reflections. That's true. It can be problematic.
Yeah.
It can be indeed. I'm going to let that one dry a bit and we'll throw some black on this one. Some noir. And then we'll do some battle cannons. I'm going to get a bigger brush. Do you know that? This one do. That one
I'm just painting wiring at the moment. The wiring at the back of the Gorkanaut.
Yeah, go for it, man. I'm definitely going to need a bigger brush for this tiger, but I don't know if I'm going to do it black. Maybe I could try grey. Because I know they did... I know the Germans did like a rust oxide colour. So I could experiment with this and just give it like a rust oxide base colour and then do chipping fluid or stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, do you have any rust paint, or do you just make your own?
Do I have any rust paint? Within hand's reach, there's at least this bottle of Surface Primer Rust from AK Interactive.
Yeah.
I've loads. I've loads of rust colours and washes and browns. I'm like, you know.
Oh, there's that's the thing. Like, I need to get some rust paint. I mean, I like making my own rust, but at the end of the day, it's nicer to.
Well, like we were saying beforehand, if you're just going to be getting two paints and you want to do rust effects on orcs, just get an orange and a brown, and mix it up.
Orange, I like an orange and red myself. I use a dark red, like it's Abomination Gore, which is kind of like a brownie red. It's got the red tinge, which I like because then it gives it a bit of an orange.
Yeah.
Orange, yeah.
But you can mix it in, like if you can only get two colors, like, and you wanted to do rust, just get like a brown and an orange, and then you can do mixes between the two of them, so you can build it up the tone of it, like, and then try a wash of something like an ochre wash or a sepia or something. This brush isn't great. If I remember correctly, this was some cheap ass Humbrol brush I bought. But it does the job.
Nick from Grey Primer, he said the dozer blade on the Torx. He's got a Torx as well. And he's got a truck and a Goliath kit too. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, the Goliath
that's it. That's it. Yeah, but Grey Primer said it looks cooler than the stock guard one, the one I did. It's because I cut the dozer blade from the Chimera in half, and then put some green stuff under it to stick it together and put plastic art on top and just super glued the thing together. Really, it was really just a lot of super glue. But it's solid as anything now. It's actually super solid. You could throw this at a wall and it would be fine. I wouldn't suggest throwing it at a wall, but
throws it at the wall and the wall gives way. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, this is a rental that I'm living in, so I don't really want to destroy it.
I don't think the landlord would be too happy. He's like, why is there this oddly Torx-shaped hole in the wall? And you'd be like, you play 40k.
Yeah.
You're a man of good taste, I see. Or woman.
You're a man of culture.
Exactly.
That's right.
Why is there this, oddly Torx-shaped hole in the wall? It's like, well... We played a battle and it got a bit wild in here, Things got heated, miniatures went flying.
That's right, we were doing an online battle. Sid said he's got a Torx, a Goliath, and a truck, and he's just going to smash them all together and see what 3 trucks comes out. Yeah. It's a bad idea, bro.
That blade,
that's awesome.
That big dozer blade front on the Goliath is like... dirty.
Oh, it's great. That's something I love. I love that model.
The rest of the model, I don't think it's, the rest of that miniature isn't really worth writing home about in my eyes, but that big dozer blade, yeah, I think so. It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me, the rest of it, but I really do love that dozer blade on the front of it.
The dozer blade is,
like, if you take, because you can build it without the dozer blade, can't you? The big, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Oh,
exactly.
Totally.
So I've seen it without it, and I'm like, it's like, why would you bother?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think you could. I've seen a battle wagon with it, and it looked insanely good, eh?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like
as a def roller.
Yeah. I like the way you're thinking, Gus. I like it.
Yeah, and then Tommy Gribbutter just said, the front dozer would look nice on a battle wagon,
See? So, great minds think alike, folks. Great minds think alike. I like what's going on here. It'd be helpful if I kept the miniature and painting in frame. I'm just doing more of what I do, which is priming or base coating miniatures on stream. I may have talked about this previously, but I don't do fine detail on stream because my brain goes into that sort of... cognition overload, that tunnel vision where you can either talk or concentrate on something but not both, whereas this sort of painting is like, oh, I can chat and just slap paint on and just keep the paint consistent, and hopefully it'll look half decent, you know what I mean?
Just adding wire. I'm just painting in all the wires, to be honest, so I am doing a little bit of detail work, but yeah. With my models, if I make any mistakes, I just put a sponge on it.
Oh, I get you. Are you the...
rust over it, yeah.
That's one of Steve-O's techniques as well when it comes to painting. He's talked to me before about it. He's like, I think his weathering technique is either a last or he uses it as a cover-up as well, where it's like, any mistakes on the paint job, well, that's getting weathered, so, you know what I mean? It's a nice... It's a nice catch-all.
It is. It really brings it together, and it just, that bit's just a bit more rusty than the other bits because I painted it with a bright blue paint.
It's like, nothing to see here, honest gov. Stab with rust primer. Stab it. Bit of a sponge.
Yeah. Well, I do like this blue glow effect, actually.
Are you trying some object source lighting, or?
Nah, not at all. I'm just playing around with it. I think I might with the when it comes to the custom mega. Is it custom mega zapper?
Which is
Can't
it? The
remember the name for
Gorkanaut? I think it's like the Blaster, or I don't play. They've given them names. It has a name. We know what you mean. It's the big arm with the massive gun in it.
Yeah. The one that's like the one that's like the custom mega can or whatever it's called. Yeah, they look great.
Custom mega.
I'm doing a bit of source lighting on that. Yeah.
Nice.
Doing a little bit of that.
Go for it, man. Go for it. Don't have much experience in object source lighting myself, so I can't really give you many pointers, but you know, I'm sure there's plenty in the chat who would be happy to pipe up.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anyone let me know what you guys do for object source lighting.
Do you know what I realised, Gus? In all my years in the hobby, I have never built a diorama. Not one.
Neither.
No.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, like. I'm surprised at myself. I'd be interested, anyone who's watching, like, have any of you done a diorama, like, specifically built or painted miniatures just for, like, a diorama project in and of itself? Because the Gundam kits have gotten me thinking like that, because they're kind of like action figures you pose, and I'm thinking, oh, well, you know, there's not really a war game I can play with these, so my brain's like, diorama, and then I came to the realization of I've never actually done one. I mean, I've seen plenty of them and I've thought of them, but never pulled the trigger.
I mean, I like the idea of them, dioramas. I always want to play with my models, so I do like dioramas, though. I think it would be really cool to have them as a terrain piece, you know, in the battlefield. Like you could just put it on a piece of terrain, the diorama, and it should look great.
I've seen some absolutely cracker ones. Give us a look.
What do you think of this so far?
Pew. Nice.
I tried this kind of. Yeah, can you see the blue? I mean,
yeah,
I'm a lagging hard outline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to do the blue. You're trying to do the blue effect for
I'm gonna do some white highlights on top of it. Yeah. So this is the blue base, and then I'll do like and this is the back. How it's looking so far.
You've picked out the wires. Yeah, I can see them. They're popping a bit.
Yeah, I want them to pop. That's the only other colors I have that are popping colors. So I don't have a lot of paints at the moment, but that'll do.
Nick is shooting some hints for you. He's saying less is more with object source lighting. It's best to look at loads of real-world reference images before you start to paint, as the effect is often a lot more subtle than you would think.
Yeah.
Sage words of wisdom there from Nick from Great
Cheers, Nick. Thanks, man. I'll have a look, actually. I mean, for this model, this will be my test model.
Give it a bash. Worst case scenario, you don't like it, it all becomes rusty.
And then you go over it again. Yeah, that's the thing.
Exactly. Just to give it the once over with the sponge. Wash away any of your, you know, any of your paint you're not happy with. These Federation tanks, I'm telling you. Orc stuff is saying the closest I've ever got is the back end of Smoggy with all the worky bits and the grok crew. Smoggy was impressive, or should I say is impressive. I hope Smoggy's still knocking around. Great name for a cat, by the way. If you ever have a cat, call him. I definitely would call him Smoggy, a black cat. But for those of you who don't know, Smoggy is Orc Stuff's Stomper, which is like, you know, easily 2.5 times the size of a Stomper. So it's a gargant. We you know, the rest of us all banded together and we're like, mate, you need to play that as a gargant. It looks too cool to just be a humble Stomper. So some absolutely cracking images of Smoggy in action, wrecking stuff. I think I have some on my Facebook page that I could share in the Discord. I'm pretty sure I've shared them in the Discord, but it's Yeah, Smoggy's a big old boy. His power claw that he uses is the size of a truck. So that's how big Smoggy is. Sci-fi. Smoggy uses a Space Marine Dread as a counterweight. That's true. He does use a Space Marine Dreadnought as a counterweight for launching his grot rockets. Some absolutely cracking stuff. Feel free to torment Orc Stuff to make a video of Smoggy, because I know you've got a channel, Orc Stuff. If you get the opportunity, try and give us a detailed look at Smoggy and a few other bits and pieces that you have.
Smoggy uses a Space Marine Dread as a counterweight. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, it's proper cool.
That is really cool. Yeah.
Next time we have a meetup, I'll have to do an in-depth video of him. So you can get some 4K footage. I'd be like, show us your pet gargant. You know, I can imagine Orc players it being like all lined up, kind of like it's a dog grooming competition, and it's just like gargants, stompers, mega gargants.
Yeah.
Who wins the blue ribbon? That would be sweet, man.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be pretty.
I'll definitely enter my Gorkanaut in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. That would be hilarious. Like we used to
I accidentally just put some paint on it.
You'd be grand. Adds to the effect.
There we go. There's a rust. Rust is coming.
Rust is a must. And this black primer on these weeny tracks. I really should have I got a bigger brush as well. Like I moved up in the world. I went from that one to that one. It's not much bigger. Tad bit bigger, but you know. I don't know where I put my normal priming brush. Anyway, I've got them mostly painted at this stage, so it's not the end of the world. These little Earth Federation tanks or whatever they're called. These kits are hilarious though, these Gundam kits, because they give you like what did I buy? It's like a ground forces kit. And they give you little they even give you like little sort of plastic explosions for your tanks, which is hilarious. So if you wanted it to look like the tank's exploding, it's kind of like the that just sits on top of the tank. Obviously you'll paint that up like it's an explosion, and then you sit the turret on top of it, so it looks kind of like that. Obviously you do a bit of work on it, but you get the rough idea.
Yeah.
They give you a little diorama piece.
Oh, that looks cool, yeah. Right. So it's
yeah. You know what I mean? Paint it up. So yeah, this is what I mean. Like when I've been messing around with this Bandai stuff, it's it really lends itself to doing dioramas and setups and that sort of thing. So it has me thinking in that regard, you know. Exploded tanks.
I get that.
Grey Primer saying, I'll happily kit bash a Gargant if we could hold the Crufts for Orc Titans later this year. Well, I don't know if it'll be later this year, Nick. I don't know if you've heard, but we won't be having a GaleCon in person. For those of you not to know, GaleCon is an Irish convention that I was looking to go to and hopefully play some BattleTech in person. And I know Nick has done some live painting sessions there with people just sort of drop in and out painting at the convention. But yeah, I think they're doing digital again, Nick, but I suppose that'll give you more time for such a thing to happen. But who knows what the future holds.
You guys are out of COVID, right?
No, we're not, man. We're in lockdown and we're vaccinating people.
Yeah.
But we're not in the high percentage yet. But we're still in lockdown, so we are. I think things are changing soon enough, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know off the top of my head. People have to look it up themselves, I'm afraid. So if I was saying we could use that template thing on the big Gargant gun with the shell leaving barrel. We could use that template thing. We could use the template thing on the big gargantuan gun. The gargantuan gun? Which one? You're confusing me, Si. Is this just like a trophy or something, or? See, his chaotic evil ways are leaking into the conversation again. I don't even know what he's saying anymore.
Yeah.
He's speaking in tongues. Oh, the ground forces tank explosion on a Stompus gun. Ah, yeah, you could do. I get you. I understand what you're saying. For templates, you just have like an exploded gun or exploded tank. Or an exploded shell. Ah, I get you now. And then if you paint up the shell, like, what's the shell called out of Super Mario? You know, the big black shells with the hands? You'd have to paint them up like that. You know what I mean? I know there's a specific name for them.
Yeah.
But if you were doing something like that, you'd have to paint them up like that for the lols. It would be hilarious. It really would be. Yeah, absolutely hilarious.
Super Mario Kart. Great game as well.
Cracking game.
Great game.
Did you see that conversion that was done of the Space Marine Primaris
yes.
buggies, and someone did it up like Mario Kart? I was like, that's just genius. Absolute genius.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah.
I love how people have a sense of humor.
Yeah. That was sick. That was really sick. That was great.
I really do. I love when people do stuff like that. And, you know, Space Marine Primaris, they're supposed to be super serious, and then someone just paints them up like the Mario Brothers. It's just, it's brilliant. It's just genius.
Yeah, it is great. It is great.
Love it.
They did look. I saw someone do that, and it did look amazing. And then there was a meme. You know, there was a meme about it for a while.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
As tends to be the way. Something so glorious would have its own meme, of course. Of course.
It needed its own meme, yeah.
Exactly.
It was the same as the Gazgul shooting the tennis balls out of his gun.
Oh, yeah.
Ragnar Blackmane.
Ragnar was...
Ragnar Blackmane with the tennis racket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That totally came out of the Ragnar pose. Yeah. I still have Gazgul on
Yeah, it started with it. Really?
Yeah, I just haven't built them.
He's a great model, eh? Really cool model. I converted mine, of course. But, yeah. I gave him a skull head.
Ah.
Apart from that, it's the original model.
Where did you give him the
just made him
skull head out of the...
Should I go get him? Should I?
Yeah, fire away if you want to go get him.
Alright, I'll go get him for you. And we can end the stream on that if you want.
Can do, Gus. We can do. If you want to show up your converted Gazgul, and then we'll wrap it up from there.
Okay.
Here's doable. I managed to get some decent progress myself on the tanks. So I've gotten the bolt action Tiger Oust E built. The only thing that isn't in it is the aerial, because you know that's gonna break off, and then I wasn't too enamored with the commander, so I've glued all the hatches closed. It means I don't have to paint the commander as well. Sneaky like that. So this boy's glued up, but he needs some work on his turret ring, because boy Jesus, that's loose. Jesus. Right, so that needs to be sorted out. And then we've been painting up some Gundam Earth Federation tanks in our black primer. And I'll eventually throw a bit of olive drab onto them, I'm thinking, and decide what way to go from there. I haven't painted any Gundam stuff so far, but I think the vehicles are a safe bet for now. And Gus has returned with his converted Gazzy. Give us a gander there now, Gus. Come on.
Alright.
Ah, nice. You get my white skull as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. He's looking good. I mean, he's
sweet, man.
Yeah. That's a Gazzy that I did.
Cool. So what did you get the head from? Did you just do like a scratch build on the head, or?
No, that's his. That's the little skull that's on the other side of the vent over there. I just clipped that off. And I
Oh,
got some
right.
green stuff and green stuffed it. Yeah, just put
Green
some
stuff
to
in
make
there.
it look like it was his head. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's a bit of my. I like to convert everything I kind of have, make it a bit of mine, bit of me
Nice.
in there.
You're like Dread, so you just can't leave anything
Yeah,
original.
man.
You have to put your own twist to everything. There's nothing wrong with that. When it,
Apart from these, apart from these Gear Guts Mega Knobs, I really dig the face that they've got, skull face. So
you're happy
I
enough
probably
with
would have
the
done
way
that
they
to them
are.
anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
there you go. See,
yeah,
look,
man.
saving you having to do a conversion yourself. Orc stuff is saying to me, use tin copper wire for the
Yeah.
Tiger aerial. I'll remember that one for future reference, mate. So I will. Some old school knowledge right there. Great primer was saying too
Oh,
cool. Tommy was saying nice gas. Yeah, very nice still.
cheers, guys.
Very
Cheers.
nice. Yeah. So we've been
Cool.
rocking and rolling for like 2 hours, I think, at this stage. I've gotten a bit of priming done. It's doing grand, and I've managed to get the tank done. And Gus, what did you manage to get done yourself? A few bits painted up, the mega knobs.
Yeah, I finished my Gorkanaut, which is great. You know, I've done that now. That's pretty
Yep.
much done. And then I painted 3 Mega Knobs.
3 mega knobs.
And
Nice.
not too bad. These 3 Mega Knobs, they're pretty much done. There's 3 of them.
Happy days. Yeah, they're looking good, man. I'm well impressed. I'll have to get the finger out and get someone either with a resin printer myself. I have a lot of Gear Guts' files because I'm subscribed to his Patreon, and I'm just stashing them away until I get something that I'd be happy to print with. But yeah, it's been fun. I've had great crack.
Man.
It's been good having you on, Gus. I've had a good chat. We're very intellectual, especially near the beginning. We're talking about the psychology of people and on armies to collect and the armies. But it's yeah, you'll find in the description of the video for the Tabletop Collector, which is Gus's channel. He's also part of the 40k Orc community, so you'll find him knocking around as the Tabletop Collector in the Discord as well. There's links for that below. I will be putting a link to the Tabletop Collector channel on my primary YouTube page on the top. So if I don't have the link at the moment, which I don't think I do, I'll put it on the channel, and you can get through and see some of Gus's content from there. So, cheers for coming on, bud.
Cheers, man. It's a pleasure.
It's great crack, and I'll catch you all in the Discord if you're knocking around, and I'll catch you later, Gus. Cheers, bud. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for everyone for joining.
Sweet. See you in the Discord, bro.
See you in the Discord. Bye for now, and don't forget to drill your barrels. Bye.